Welcome. My name is Gabby Coletta. Thanks for joining a restorative and yin practice. So today's intention and invitation as we settle into our poses is, can you tap into this inner non-resistance? Can you begin to accept what is? And so often, unconscious or conscious, it can be really easy when we're met with discomfort or when we're met with pain or hurt to resist it, to try to escape it, to distract ourselves from it, to manipulate it or change it so that we don't have to sit in the discomfort of whatever it is. And so there's a saying that you might hear in the yoga community: what we resist will persist. And so if we keep fighting against these things that are innate and naturally coming up, whether it's an emotion or whether it's a sensation or an experience, if we keep resisting it, then it just is looking for another avenue of expression. It's only going to build up more energy and momentum. And so we can become wiser about how we use our energy by simply allowing, rather than putting up a fight to try to stifle or quell whatever the thing is that we're trying to resist. So as we move through practice, the invitation is, can you cultivate non-resistance? Can you settle into what is? We'll begin in Supta Baddha Konasana. We'll take 2 bricks and place 1 brick high and 1 brick lower. And you'll place the lower brick right where the shoulder blade tips kiss. Go ahead and rest the back of your heart onto the brick. Use the taller brick as a pillow or as a head support. If you have low back pain, you might keep both of your feet flat on the earth, knees to the sky. If you're craving a little more grounding, hip opener, soles of the feet together, butterfly the knees out. You can also just simply extend the legs straight. And if the block doesn't feel supportive under your heart or it hurts, it might not be high up enough towards your head. When you're ready, release the hands on either side. Turn the palms up. Invite the eyes to close, or simply soften the gaze. See if you can let your body come to completely melt on the support beneath you. Wherever you are arriving in your practice, in your body, take a big breath in. Fill up through the nose, let the belly expand. And sigh out. 2 more breaths to arrive here and now. Inhale, big breath in, filling up the ribs, the lungs, the body with presence. Exhale, let it go. Inviting the muscles to soften, the bones to get heavy. Once more like that. Big inhale, just tracing where you feel the breath in your body as we begin. Big exhale to see where you can release and soften. Letting the heels sink into the ground, the calves, the legs, the buttocks. Invite the back of your heart to be held by the brick. Maybe as you do, softening the shoulders. Invite the collarbones to broaden, the jaw to soften, and the arms to get a little heavier. Even the hands that are so accustomed to holding and grasping. Can you let them relax, the little muscles in each finger? Begin to slow down your breath. Start to draw the breath in through the nose, filling up the belly first, letting the ribs expand and the lungs fill full without force. And exhale, let the lungs empty, the the ribs soften towards each other and the belly softens. 3-part breath, Durga breath, will continue. Inhale, belly expands like a Buddha belly. Ribs, lungs fill up without force. Exhale, lungs empty, clearing. Ribs soften. Belly relaxes, releasing tension. We'll do 5 more rounds on your own. This breath that's deeply nourishing for our nervous system, allowing us to shift from the constant doing into a place of settling and being with what is. As you slow the breath and continue to watch it, see if you can begin to scan the whole body, just noticing if there's any areas of tension, of holding, if there's any resistance in the muscles, and seeing if you can invite the sense of sukha, ease, into the body. Take 1 more round of Durga breath here, 3-part breath. Just witnessing how the breath is creating space in the body where it's moving. And letting it go, trusting the next breath to come. And just stay with a steady breath in and out through the nose. Maybe start to wiggle the fingers and toes. And then you're just going to slowly bend the knees if your legs are extended long. If they were butterflied out, use the hands on either side of the leg to draw them together. And I invite you to roll to one side. Not a big graceful way to do it, just roll to move the bricks off. Return to your back for a moment, complete supine, almost like Shavasana, legs long, arms on either side. Take a big breath in. Maybe notice how the back of the heart feels, the place of the shoulder blades. And a big breath out, letting your body settle. Just letting it be held rather than trying to hold it in a specific way. Take a couple more breaths here, simply noticing the difference behind the heart, front of the heart, as you breathe. So as we move into longer holds in our practice, the breath will become a great ally, especially if the mind wants to wander, or if the body wants to resist staying and pausing in poses. Take 1 more breath where you are, just back body on the earth. Full exhale. Slowly bend the knees and roll to your right side in fetal position. And take a breath here. You might even imagine drawing up energy from the earth to support your practice. Knowing that simply by calling your presence in, you are supporting yourself. And perhaps giving yourself a permission to release the attempt to shift, to change, to hold, to do. When you're ready, just slowly drape yourself up. And you're going to make your way onto all fours, table pose. Spread the hands. Let the shins come to rest on the earth, hips over knees. knees, tops of feet grounded. On your inhale, draw the heart forward, lift the chin, the gaze, just opening the front of the heart to noticing. As you exhale, press the earth away, round, drop the crown of the head heavy, spread the shoulder blades away from each other. See if you can do this movement very slowly, starting from the base of the spine and just allowing the ripples, vertebrae by vertebrae, unfurling. And as you exhale, articulating every little sensation and movement. You can keep the eyes closed if that helps your awareness stay inward. And sometimes, often, cutting off one of our senses can be a powerful way to reserve our energy and regenerate it. It can also be a way of just noticing what is in the here and now in your body, in your heart. So I encourage you as we move through this practice to close the eyes when you want. Take about 2 more breaths here. You can stay with cow and cat or invite your own intuitive movement. Simply trusting the wisdom of your body to let you know what it needs if you need to wiggle in a certain way. On your next breath, come back to table. And then slowly lower down, bending the elbows back. And slide onto your belly. Untuck the toes. And take the arms forward. I'll give a few options. If you want a more yin, a little more active of a yin pose, you'll come into Sphinx, shoulders over elbows, palms on the earth. Tops of the feet on the earth, heart drawing through the window of the arms. If you want a little more of a restorative Sphinx, you'll take your bolster and place it near the top of your mat, underneath the armpits and supporting the sternum, the heart. You can also take another brick and place it just in front of the face so you can let the third eye, space between the brow, come to rest. So go ahead and find your expression of Sphinx pose, your heart opener. As you settle in, invite the tops of the legs to get heavy. If you're in a more restorative position, invite the bolster and the brick to support you. So really letting the body just melt into your props. And come to rest in this heart opener. As we settle into a longer hold here, see if you can stay present with what is. So thoughts will emerge. We can't always control our thoughts, but we can learn to not attach to them. We can learn to accept them as coming in and going out. One of the best ways to return to a sense of presence is to breathe, to trace the breath moving in through the nose and out through the nose. When we hold these heart openers, they can be a powerful way to invite flow into our life. Oftentimes when we're feeling lethargic or stuck or stagnant, heart openers can reinvigorate the body in a very subtle way. And so simply settling into this heart opener can be a way of inviting acceptance for the flow of life, rather than any tendencies to get stuck or bogged down or resist what is inevitable, which we all recognize as change. If you took Sphinx pose and want to move into a deeper expression for the last 30 seconds of holding this pose, you can take your hands a little wider than the mat and further in front of you, and then press into your hands, lift the heart into seal pose. Notice what's coming up in the body. Notice if there's any internal fight or resistance, and can you just be in the here and now of this pose for 5 more breaths. If you're in seal or Sphinx, you'll just slowly release. You can take the hands long behind you and rest a cheek on the earth. If there's any intensity in the back body, you can bend the legs and just gently windshield wiper the legs side to side. If you were in the supported Sphinx, you'll plant your hands down, rise to your knees, so that you can move your bolster off to the side. Go ahead and move your brick to the side of your mat as well, just so it's out of the way. We'll all come to meet on our bellies, plant our hands down, our forearms down, and rise to Sphinx. Only here for a moment, find your right hand. And then thread your right arm underneath your left, rest your right shoulder, your right cheek on the earth, start to roll onto the right side of the body. Bring your top leg to a 90-degree bend, and imagine you have your favorite crayon in your left hand. Start to draw a big semicircle, like a rainbow, over your head, just getting some opening into the shoulder. And you can do this a few times. Big semicircle, half moon, or rainbow. And eventually where we'll meet is arms out to a T in a supine twist. If you have no neck pain, you might shift your gaze over to the left. Otherwise, keep your gaze towards the right. Any discomfort in the legs, then you can take your bolster and place it underneath your leg for support. So go ahead and settle into the supine twist. Take a big inhale, imagine the breath like rinsed water moving through the body. A big exhale to let it go. Notice if there's resistance and holding in the legs. Can you let them soften? Can you let the back body soften to the ground? The left shoulder get a little heavier, inviting gravity to do the work. And simply be here breathing. Inviting your focus inward. Notice if the mind wants to wander. Notice you're getting attached to a thought or a story. And see if you can let it go, like watching a leaf float down a stream. Thought comes in, and thought leaves. With every exhale, can you invite more softening into the muscles? Let each exhale be an invitation to relax. So slowly through this practice, we can decondition such a large tendency in modern culture of doing, of constantly producing. And it can be hard to invite ourselves into a place of rest and relaxation. Simply shifting speeds in our life can feel like the hardest form of resistance. So can you rest even if the body and the mind want to move? One more big breath. Send your mind's eye to the left hand, that same hand that you put your favorite color crayon in. And imagine again that you're drawing a big rainbow over your head all the way till both hands meet. Start to roll onto your belly. If you had your leg on a prop, just move it. Move the prop to the side. We'll come back to Sphinx. We'll move straight into the other side. So if you have a prop, move it over. Take your left hand this time and thread it underneath your right. Rest the left shoulder, left head. Bend the top leg at 90 degrees. Maybe put your bolster. And imagine the markers in your right hand making big circles over your head. You can do these semicircles a few times. And it's okay if your hand doesn't stay on the earth. It'll be different for each person. And so just opening up some shoulder mobility here, opening up some space across the heart as we trace the semicircle over the head. When you're ready, you'll settle into a twist, inviting your arms out to a T, palms face up. Take a big inhale here. And a big exhale to soften into your twist. See if you can invite shoulders to get heavy, the right shoulder to relax towards the earth. Notice where you feel the breath flooding into the body. See where the breath can send some prana. Where do you feel resistance in the body or stuckness? Often this shows up as tight muscles or tension. And so we can send our life force or our prana to those different parts by sending our mind, our awareness to the parts of the body that feel tight and breathing into those parts. So take a moment to scan your body, see where there's tightness, resistance, tension. Hold that part of your body in your mind. And as you inhale, send it prana, breath, life force, intention, attention. As you exhale, let it soften. Sometimes all we need to release a little resistance is to hold that tension in our awareness. rather than ignoring it or fighting it. Simply allowing it to be can be a powerful form of integration. And integration is fundamental for our healing. Take another big breath here. Full exhale. Imagine that crayon in your right hand, then draw one last big half moon rainbow till both hands meet. If you have a prop, you'll move it to the side and come back on to your belly. Take the hands under the shoulders, press yourself through all fours, and make your way into a child's pose. Bring the knees together for this variation. Forehead can come to rest on a brick or the bolster or the earth. Arms stretch long behind you. Palms face up. Take 3 breaths here. As you inhale, can you feel the breath canvas the back body? As you exhale, let the whole body be held by the ground, softening. 2 more breaths, stretching the breath between each vertebrae as you inhale. 1 more breath to let it go. Last breath here. Move into 1 more deep heart opening. I'm going to give a variation depending on how your body feels. So, where we are working towards Dreamtime Hero, you might only use 1 brick, or you might use several. So, bring your props nearby so you have them. From child's pose, slowly make your way onto your back. Place the soles of the feet onto the earth. Flat, shins straight up and down, knees towards the sky. Take a moment with the arms long on either side to let the back body melt. You might notice a little space between the earth and your back, low back. See if you can press that space down, just tucking the pelvis slightly. And then lift the space up. So almost like a few cat-cows on your back, these pelvic tilts. Keep your gaze towards the sky if possible. And just to preserve the neck. And take 1 more pelvic tilt here. Go ahead and grab your brick. And you can choose which setting you want to set it on. So it can be medium, low, high, but you'll place it at the sacrum, the little triangular section just above the glutes, the low back. We'll begin here in this restorative bridge pose. There will be an option to build into a deeper heart opener. But this is stage 1, where you might stay. Draw the chin away from the heart slightly. And take a big breath into the heart. Big exhale. Continue to deepen the breath. See if you can connect with your heart. Oftentimes, part of cultivating acceptance means that we open our heart to what is without judgment, without trying to shift it, and just simply allowing it. You're welcome to stay here. Or you can shift the brick onto its highest setting. You're welcome to stay on the highest setting. Or you can grab the top of the foot and place the top of the foot onto the earth on both sides. You can keep your hands long on either side or hold onto your feet, stretching the top to the ankles. Maybe scooching the shoulders underneath your heart a little more. I encourage you to choose the heart opener that you can settle into. Choose the one where there will be the least resistance, the least fighting, and the more or the most allowing. Invite your presence into this pose for 5 more breaths. Let the breaths be slow, intentional. One more big breath. If you're in that dream time reclined hero variation, just release the soles of the feet onto the earth. You can choose to stay on the highest setting, or you can lower into any other setting you wish. On the next breath, you'll take both knees in, and then reach the feet up to the sky. Legs up the wall variation, with the brick supporting the sacrum. Really invite the heaviness of each leg to just sink into the hip sockets, sink into the brick. Invitation to take this as your shavasana, perhaps moving to a wall, so you're fully supported with your legs up the wall, like so. Otherwise, we'll be here for about a minute before moving into your choice of your final resting pose. Continue to slow the breath. one more breath here. One more full exhale. Slowly make your way into your choice of Shavasana. You can come to lie on the earth, legs long, arms on either side. If you want a little more grounding, you might place weight like a blanket or a sandbag or the bolster over the pelvis. If your back needs a little relief, then place the bolster underneath the legs. Wherever you are in your practice, take the biggest breath yet. And exhale, let it go into your Shavasana, your ultimate non-resistance, non-doing. Just simply allowing your body, your mind, your heart to settle in.